What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? What's going on out here today on this beautiful Wednesday evening? What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Big shout out to everybody that's currently in the Twitter world, in the Facebook world, as well as the YouTube world. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you guys don't already know, if you guys didn't read the title of this video, the draft is tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And at one point, this might have been an exciting time in the life of the AZ sports fan here myself, or I would be psyching this day up because new prospects and new players are coming into the Arizona Cardinals. But this year, I don't feel quite the same. I don't know if it's because we're picking 23rd overall and it really is up to the first 22 teams to kind of choose our fate. I don't know if it's just I lost faith in Steve Keim and kind of everything he says is just blah, blah, blah to me at this very moment. I'm not 100% sure, but I just don't have the same excitement coming into this draft. But I'm definitely, I'm going to put my hat on, my fan hat on, and I'm curious to figure out who the Arizona Cardinals are going to pick up 23rd overall. Now, the Arizona Cardinals have a lot of different options, a lot of holes yet to fill because the free agency class or the free agency signings were, subpar to say the least. But there's still a lot of holes for the Arizona Cardinals to go after this coming draft. Now, what are the Arizona Cardinals going to do? They're going to trade up, trade down. Are they going to stay at number 23? We're going to kind of talk about, all different kind of scenarios who I want the Arizona Cardinals to pick up, but I don't think I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket this year. I feel like if I just don't have such high expectations, I won't be disappointed. So I'm kind of in a situation right now where I'm just like, we're just going to let it play out. We're going to let it play out and see who the Arizona Cardinals end up picking up this year. But before we get started into the whole draft talk, if you guys weren't fully aware of what's going on with the Arizona Ian Rappaport ended up posting this bombshell of a news here at 3:44 p.m. today, saying that the Arizona Cardinals have picked up the fifth-year option on Kyler Murray, sources say. So the whole drama that's been happening with Kyler Murray, is he going to get paid? Is he not going to get paid? Well, this is kind of the step in the right direction, right? And I know a lot of people are asking, well, what does that even mean, Mike? What's going on? What does that mean that we're picking up the fifth-year option for Kyler Murray? Well, when you're signing a when a first-round pick ends up getting drafted, they have 4 years in their rookie deal. If the team that drafts them decides to get him back for one more year, they can pick up the fifth-year option. Now, whether the extension is going to be done prior to that or after that, whatever the whole situation is, obviously that's a mumbo jumbo that Kyler and the Arizona Cardinals in the front office need to kind of talk about in terms of what is going to be happening with that whole scenario. But we also did get another tweet here from John Gambadoro, which is going to be the local radio host here in the Arizona world, I guess the Phoenix world here. But he says Kyler Murray will be making $29.7 million fully guaranteed on the fifth-year option that was just picked up because of the two Pro Bowls he made. I believe it will be the highest fifth-year option ever paid out. So Kyler Murray is definitely going to go ahead and get paid. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to get paid just that. They might be working out an extension in the summer like they talked about. But basically, I think there was a deadline for the Cardinals to do it, and I think it was like May 2nd or something like that. So I think they just kind of got in front of it in that whole situation. So nothing too crazy, but there's definitely some talks about it finally with all this drama that's been happening this offseason where we have the fan base split apart. We can at least kind of say right now that Kyler Murray is going to be the franchise quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, which is definitely which is definitely good for sure. But big shout out to all of the people that's in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys for coming through. We got Teddy. We got Michael in the house. I got Jack in the house. Lennon in the house. BBH, I see you there. Drew, what's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for coming through. Thank you so very much. Now, let's get started here, right? Everybody's here to talk about some draft talk. And it's super funny to me because, well, it's not funny, but this is, I don't know, this feels weird. Like, right? This feels like a weird year. In terms of the draft. And I'm not 100% exactly sure as to why this feels very weird because the excitement level for me specifically is at an all-time low. Is at an all-time low. I'm not quite sure if I want to put my excitement level very high because I don't know. What I would like to see for this Arizona Cardinal team, I would legit like to see the Arizona Cardinals just get a player in the first round that's going to produce. Like, I think that's kind of my expectations here. Like, let's get a player in the first round and have them produce, please, because we've seen the last 2 years with Isaiah and Zayvon Collins, and it just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And it's like, man, all the crap that we give to Steve Keim just kind of just piles it more on there. And on top of that, he got a 5-year extension. It's just really weird all around. But let me give a big shout out to my guy Soul Pancake coming up here. He's a new channel member of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Appreciate you for coming on here. Thank you so very much. Becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. Thank you. But let's talk about this, right? What are the positions? What are the key players that the Arizona Cardinals, I guess, have their eye on, or who the Arizona Cardinals should be getting? Now, if you look at the roster for the Arizona Cardinals, I still do think that the Arizona Cardinals have at least 3 or 4, maybe if you want to count 5 different, needs for the Arizona Cardinals. I think wide receiver number 2 for the future is still very important. I think edge is still fairly important. I think offensive tackle, specifically the guard position, you can maybe kind of talk about maybe right tackle as well, but specifically the guard position. Also in the interior defensive line, also a big position there. And cornerback. I feel like those are the 5 positions that the Arizona Cardinals can kind of go any which way. And I'm not exactly sure what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. There's been rumors out there that the Arizona Cardinals, or not just the Arizona Cardinals, but other teams have been very, very excited about the opportunity of maybe Jameson Williams, right? That's a big name out there that a lot of people kind of have their eye on. A lot of teams seem that he might be that franchise wide receiver that a lot of teams want. And I think the Arizona Cardinals might have, went his way or kind of looked in his direction. And there was rumors out there saying that he had a visit with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, there's really no way in heck the Arizona Cardinals are going to get him if they don't trade up. Now, this is the days, these are the weeks leading into the draft that everything that is said about the draft, either from Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury, any other GM out there, it's all a bunch of lies. It's all a bunch of lies. It's all smoke screens. There's really no GM, in my personal opinion, that's going to give their big board out this early out, right? There's rumors out there saying that, some teams are going to pick up quarterbacks. There's some rumors out there saying that, there's teams that are really high on quarterbacks. And I feel like that's all kind of a scare tactic, right? It's a scare tactic to make sure that the other teams behind the teams that are making this rumor panic and they try to move up for that player that they want to get. The only team that really has their pick of any player out there is going to be the Jaguars, right? The Jaguars are going to be the only team out there that's going to be like, wow, whoever you decide to pick, you're going to obviously pick up because you're the first overall and you just kind of have that power, right? You were the worst team in the NFL last year. Congratulations. You get the first overall pick, just almost kind of how the Arizona Cardinals was when we ended up drafting Kyler Murray. So huge positions, right? Huge moves, huge positions for the Arizona Cardinals. What are the Cardinals going to do? And here are some things that I feel like the Cardinals can very well do. Now let's humor the fact that maybe the Cardinals decide to stay at the number 23 spot, right? Let's just live in this world where the Arizona Cardinals decide to stay at the number 23 spot and does not decide to move back or decide to move up. I think 2 likely positions the Arizona Cardinals can target in this draft is going to be defensive line and offensive line. I feel like if they stay at the number 23 overall spot, that's most likely what they're going to do. Now, this is with the exception of a huge, big time player not falling to them. And I mean the cornerback, a wide receiver that they're very, very high on. That doesn't fall to the number 23 spot. I think if they do stay at number 23, they're going to go defensive line. And specifically to me, I'm talking interior. or offensive line. So in the trenches, they're going to address the trenches if they stay in the number 23 overall spot. Now, if they decide to move up, let's say, for example, we get the breaking news, the Arizona Cardinals are actually moving up in the teens. The Arizona Cardinals can go one of two ways. They can go cornerback or they can go wide receiver. And I know there's a lot of fans out there saying that the wide receiver, group or core this year is super deep, right? But that's exactly what we heard last year as well. We heard that the wide receiving group is going to be absolutely dynamite, so we can go ahead and wait. I think we're kind of in a position right now where we need to start thinking about whoever we're going to get in this first round needs to produce, and they need to produce within that first year. The days of sitting on the bench should be long over. A talk should be happening with Steve Keim, Vance Joseph, and Cliff Kingsbury saying that. The fact that if you draft him, he better be ready to play. But right now, we're in a situation, like I said, where the Arizona Cardinals can go any which way here. And I'm not 100% exactly sure what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do this year. I really, really don't. I'm just only kind of going based off positions. Now, let's just say, for example, the Arizona Cardinals do go offensive line. What are some likely candidates that's going to be able to drop over to the Arizona Cardinals? Now, some people are saying Kenyon Green, Zion Johnson, Trevor Penning might be a player that can fall. Some people might even say Tyler Linderbaum, which I know specifically he plays like, center, and I know that we got Ronnie Hudson. I know, blah, blah, blah. I know. Those are some likely candidates that can fall to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, for the defensive line, some players that can, very well fall to the Arizona Cardinals, just kind of really depending on your own rankings. The only player that I would be like, hey, we got to get that guy, or maybe a possibility is, Devontae Wyatt is interesting. I know there's some kind of back things, his personal stuff that's been happening, in his personal life, but him or Jordan Davis would be amazing. But will Jordan Davis fall? Probably not. Probably not. Is also a likable, or a spot where the Arizona Cardinals can very well get somebody there. Trent McDuffie, to me, is very intriguing. Andrew Booth, intriguing. Now, if you look at the other top two, your Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley Jr., I don't think they're going to fall to the Arizona Cardinals on the number 23 spot. Let me tell you that right now. If we do decide to trade up, it's going to be for those big-time players that end up falling, right? I mean, I guess the best thing that we can do here for Arizona Cardinal fans is hope and pray that we get some quarterbacks in the first round. Right now, the projection for a quarterback to go, there's some mock drafts out there saying that they can very well have some quarterbacks go, but it is probably in the top 20, comparable to the top 10. I'm not quite 100% sure if that's the case, but Malik Willis is a player that a lot of people kind of have their eye on. There's a couple other quarterbacks out there that, teams probably have their eye on as well. But here's the problem with picking the number 23 spot. There's just so many different things that can happen. So many different things that can happen for the Arizona Cardinals this way. And it all kind of just depends on what happens with the first 22 teams that are on the clock. We're kind of falling victim. We're falling victim of that whole situation. Or we're just kind of waiting, right? We're kind of waiting and seeing what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do, because I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think I'm the only fan that's not as excited this year. I don't think I'm the only fan. The past 2 or 3 years, it's probably, prime for this Arizona Cardinal team, and fans were super excited. Let's go. We're going to pick up the next best thing out there. This is going to be exciting. Let's do this. Let's do that. But I don't know. There just seems to be a cloud over this Arizona Cardinal organization. And a lot of fans seem to be turned off. A lot of fans seem to be turned off of, the Arizona Cardinals this year. And like I said earlier, I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. Let me get to my guy, Soul Pancakes, the new channel member of this YouTube channel. Appreciate you. He says, I don't want Jahan Dotson. I'd rather go with Christian Watson. Faster, taller, and more physical. We'll see. And that's kind of what leads me to my next point. Looking at the wide receivers that can possibly fall to the Arizona Cardinals. If you're looking at the top like 3 wide receivers in the eyes of a lot of people's big boards, you're looking at Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, or Drake London, right? And then you have your other wide receivers, which are still first-round talents, but just really depends on where they're going to fall. Your Treylon Burks, your Chris Olave, George Pickens, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson, Sky Moore, just to kind of name maybe top first rounds, maybe early second round picks. It's kind of what we're at. Now, there's kind of rumors out there saying that the Arizona Cardinals have their eye on a wide receiver. Possibly. and that is Jahan Dotson. Now, like I said, this year, I'm going to take a chill pill. I'm going to take a chill pill comparably to the last few years where I'm just like, or I guess not the last few years, but last year specifically, I wasn't happy with the first round pick. I wasn't happy with the second round pick. Now, Rondale Moore did, decent. What was that? Was it 3 or 4 touchdowns? 400, 500 yards, something like that. Decent for a rookie. He got hurt. It hurt his productivity on the field. I wasn't excited about the first 2 rounds. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't. This year, probably not going to be excited about the first rounds as well. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. I'm going to wait to see how it plays out. If we do go offensive line, which I feel like that might be a big possibility that the Arizona Cardinals might do, I wouldn't be mad at it because we need protection for Kyler. If we go defensive line, I wouldn't be mad at it because we need some pressure in the NFC West and just the NFC just in general. So we have a lot of different ways here, right? A lot of different ways for the Arizona Cardinals here to unfold and see exactly what would the Cardinals do here. Now, let me get to my guy, Drew here. He's also a channel member. He says, if we go wide receiver, so I'm sorry, let me go back up here. If we go wide receiver, round 2, I like Jalen Tolbert. Okay. And I did see another comment here from you, Drew, as well. I would rather settle on Kenyon Green at the 23rd if Zion is off the board. I'd be happy with him if we trade back and pick up a 3rd or a 4th. And that's kind of another thing, right? That's another thing that a lot of people kind of aren't really talking about. The possibility of the Arizona Cardinals trading back and maybe recouping a 3rd or a 4th round pick. 2nd round, that's too rich. Just, I guess, really depends on how far back we go, right? The Arizona Cardinals have, at this very moment, a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, and a lot of 6th and 7s, which, to me, I'm not going to really focus too much on those 6th and 7s because a lot of the times they don't make it on the roster, or I guess they make it on the roster, but they're not really a big impact player. So it's very important for the Arizona Cardinals to make sure that their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounders land. But I will settle for one of the 3 because that's just the expectations that I have for Steve Keim in this front office. They have yet to really kind of prove that they can draft. And we just kind of have to wait and see. Right? One thing that would be very exciting for me, that would kind of get me off, like, let's go, like, let's reviving 2022 season, going for the NFC West. Joking. One thing that would really make me excited is if the Arizona Cardinals do trade up and possibly get a cornerback that's still on the board and possibly get that wide receiver that's still on the board. That would really be kind of the only thing that would make me excited as a fan. Now, I can't speak for all the other fans that are out there, but that would be the one thing that would make me excited. If we stay at the number 23rd overall, I do think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to address the trenches on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. And I wouldn't be mad at it because we got holes for days on this team. Holes for days on this team. And one thing I have noticed, and I'm not sure if you guys have noticed as well, there's not very many people here talking about draft when literally the draft is tomorrow. I feel like a lot of people are turned off by the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of people are turned off by this team. And I think it's because of the decisions that have been made, whether you're a team Kyler, whether you're a team don't pay him, or whether you're a team Steve Keimer, or whether you're a team Cliff Kingsbury, or not team them. It's just a weird offseason for the Arizona Cardinals to have. With 11-6 wins, you would think there would be a little bit more urgency, right? You would think that they would want to go for the West. I'm not going to lie to you, ladies and gentlemen. I believe there's 2 flight plans that were put out there. 2, 3, 3? 2 flight plans? 3 flight plans? I couldn't watch the full flight plan. I couldn't watch a full flight plan. I don't know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing it first right here from a guy that's been born and raised in Arizona Cardinals, that bleeds red figuratively and literally. But I can't tell you right now that I am extremely excited about this draft. But we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens here. We got my guy Silver Wolf AZ says, laugh out loud. I had to remind people about the draft being tomorrow. And see, perfect example. Silver Wolf AZ. He had to remind people that the draft was tomorrow. I think a lot of fans, after this whole offseason, being up here, let's go. Free agency. Then free agency happened. Down. And then we had the Kyler Murray drama. Now it's resolved. Down. And then the Arizona Cardinals are trying to hit us with some flight plans. Trying to get us hyped up for it. I haven't watched a full flight plan, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just couldn't sit there and listen to the people that are in charge. I'm still an Arizona Cardinal fan. Born and raised here. Am I going to go to a game? I have less desire to go to a game this coming year compared to last year. Last year, I couldn't do it just because of obviously family issues that ended up happening, having a brand new baby, and I just couldn't suffice going to a game because I didn't want to leave my wife with the baby. But it's just something in the air. Something in the air. Teddy, what's up, Teddy? He says, drama was draining, Mike. I agree. I agree. 100% agree. Jay Salcido says, are you going to watch the Suns? Honestly, here's the funny part. Here's the funny part, man. I've been doing watch parties, right? I've been doing watch parties for the Arizona Cardinals. The Phoenix Suns. I've been doing watch parties. And I honestly want to do I want to do a Suns watch party rather than watch the draft. Like legit, man. I'd rather watch the Suns beat up on the Pelicans again with the possibility of Devin Booker coming back than watch the draft and stream that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Go Suns. So let's keep talking about the draft here. Who do you want the Arizona Cardinals to get? Right? We got wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line. We could put edge, obviously, within defensive line. Cornerback. Who would you want the Arizona Cardinals to end up picking up this coming NFL draft, which does start tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen? FYI, if you guys did not know, the NFL draft is tomorrow and starts at 5 p.m. Arizona time. Most likely will be on ESPN, but it also does play on locals, which is Channel 15, ABC. Just in case, let me put that plug in there right now. Let me put that plug in right now. The draft is tomorrow, in case you guys do not know. Jay Salcido, what he says, Hopkins wants Debo. Debo would be nice. Debo would be nice. Sean Simmons. Oh, sorry, Dean Simmons. I apologize, Dean. He says Pickens first, D Jackson second, and Mathis third. Silver Wolf says Zion Johnson. Dude's a beast. But there's rumors out there saying that Zion won't make it that far. I mean, but right. I mean, the best thing that we can do, literally, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing that we can do is hope that the first 22 teams that pick up in the draft before us, at least 3 or 4 quarterbacks go. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I think at least 1 or 2 quarterbacks are going to go before our pick. But we hopefully there's going to be some very, very hungry teams coming up, moving up, or wanting to get some sort of quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. Dakota, what's up, Dakota? My final pick is edge. So you want edge. Okay, edge and cornerback. Interior offensive line, interior defensive line, safety, tight end, punter. I mean, you want everybody. You want everybody. All right. Nice. Jay Salcido, how would you feel about the Cardinals getting Debo? That'd be cool. I mean, right, an established wide receiver. The only issue is I don't see the 49ers sending him over to us. I don't see it happening. He's within the NFC West. I don't see it happening at all. DeAndre Hopkins, took a picture with them. Obviously, it looks like they have some sort of chemistry. Everything looks good and good in the hood there, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. And he had a good year this last year, but he has been hurt several other times. Now, I know that he doesn't want to play running back anymore. He wants to be specifically a wide receiver, which I definitely don't blame him at all. But what are the Cardinals going to do, right? Any which way, right? It's crazy to see where the Arizona Cardinals are going to be picking and see where they land, essentially. Let's see here. Edward, what's up, Edward? I'm going to busy watching the Suns over the draft since we all know that we're going to play them their rookie season and we're going to fall apart in the second half. Sheesh. And that right there is the perfect example. Edward, if you don't mind, I'm just going to post your comment here real quick. If you don't want to believe that there's a lot of fans out there turned off by this team, this is a perfect example of what I've been talking about. And I'm not the only guy that has this cloud over my head with the team that has become a team with the stigma of we can't finish the job, whether Kyler Murray gets hurt, whether Cliff Kingsbury can adjust, whether we're just too top heavy and the big people that go down, it's a bigger impact than we want them to be. It is a perfect example with if a lot of people actually have in their minds. Legit, I would rather watch the Suns too. 110%. It starts at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow, and I'd rather watch the Suns in 6 over the Pelicans. Jay Salcido says, you all got to get hype. I feel like we'll be good. We got Max Williams, Ertz, Hopkins, and we'll be good. I think it's more of a prove it type of thing. And it's not, we start 7-0. Cool. Awesome. Dope. That's awesome. But it's not how we finish. It's not how we start. It's how we finish. It's not how we start. It's how we finish. There's a lot of people out there that don't feel like we're going to do so hot. I don't feel like we're a better team than the Rams. I really don't. I really, really don't. Teddy, what's up, Teddy? At least the Rattlers play for championships. The Rattlers, and we also have Mercury, right? We got those teams right there. Suns in 6, 100%. Dean, Debo would be cool, but too pricey and risky. Yeah, the risk comes from injury, right? He had a really good year this last year, but he does get injured a lot, for sure. Definitely gets injured a lot. $50 better than the Cardinals. Yeah, I agree. So let me ask you guys this. What are the likely chances of the Arizona Cardinals trading up? What are the likely chances of the Arizona Cardinals trading back? What are the likely chances of the Arizona Cardinals using their pick to get Deebo Samuel, to get a veteran wide receiver that's more of an establishment? What are the chances of the Arizona Cardinals just staying pat in the number 23rd overall spot and just doing what we do, because this season hasn't been as aggressive as we thought it was going to be? There's a lot of different chances out there, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of different chances. Alex, what's up, Alex? Are you going to do any mock drafts today, Mike? Probably not, to be honest with you. Just mock drafts seem to be very dime a dozen. And I feel like we're getting a lot of the same answers over and over again. I'm just going to allow the Cardinals to pick. Like I said a little earlier in the stream, this is the first year probably in a very long time where I'm just like, oh, the draft's tomorrow. That's cool. That's nice, if that makes sense. So I'm probably not going to do any mock drafts. I know that if you go to a few different Cardinal pages, they got some really cool mock drafts going on right there, but just nah, not for me. Let's see here. Soul, what's up, Soul? So what time is the stream party tomorrow? Who's the pick that would make you shut the shut the TV? Oh, bro, honestly, Soul, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna have an USA moment tomorrow. I'm gonna have an USA moment. So the stream is gonna be starting anywhere between 5 to 5:30, and the biggest reason why there's a gap is because got some things to do. I got to get off work, get everything kind of ready here on my end. But there's gonna be that gap that's gonna be happening. What's one player that's gonna make me shut my TV off? I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to have an USA moment, and maybe clip this here because it probably won't happen. And you could play it back until you could send it to me on Twitter and be like, I thought you were gonna have a USA moment. Yeah, probably not. I'm gonna try to keep my head cool, calm, and collected, because just not having expectations, I feel like I'm not gonna get disappointed. That's how I'm taking this off season so far. What's up, Dean? Where would we trade up to? So where would we trade up to 14 for Jameson? So are you asking, like, where do I think we're going to need a draft or trade up until to get like Jameson Williams? It's a very good question. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. I think realistically, if we're looking at second here. I think realistically, I wanted to say, I want to say maybe 14 to 13, just because we have Philly at 15. We got New Orleans at 16 with, Michael Thomas and everything. I don't see the Chargers getting anybody. Yeah, I think we probably have to trade up pretty up there in order to kind of land Jameson Williams, to be 110% honest with you. Mark Jackson in the house. What's up? He says, Kai will not trade. He'll pick up an inside linebacker as he always does. Zing. And another perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. Another perfect example of people just turned off, man. It's a weird offseason. Just weird offseason. So realistically, I think you got to get in the top 15. Facts. Like legit, you have to get in the top 15 to maybe consider getting Williams. Jameson. Yeah. 12, probably. Yeah, I know you said 12, but the Commanders can very well get him. The Jets can very well get him, which I think they should probably focus on their offensive line more than anything to protect Zach Wilson. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. We need a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator, to be honest. Well, we've been screaming on top of a mountain, man. We've been screaming on top of a mountain forever for the Arizona Cardinals to get a offensive coordinator. It's just not going to happen. They have so much faith in Cliff Kingsbury that's just kind of the way that they're going to play out. They're not going to do it. Now, whether you don't like Vance Joseph or you do, I was hoping Vance Joseph was going to get the head coaching job. I was hoping he was going to get the head coaching job in Miami. I was really hoping. Fingers crossed. Just didn't work out that way. Just didn't work out that way. So he's the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals again. Let's see here. Jose says, do you think we trade up or trade down? Any which way, honestly. And I know it sounds like a cop, like a scapegoat, like to say that. Here's my thought. If we trade up, because Jameson Williams is still available at the 15th overall spot, and the Cardinals maybe have an idea or an inkling to maybe move up 8. If we move up, I think we're getting a wide receiver or a cornerback. If we stay at the number 23 overall spot, I think the Cardinals are going to go offensive line or defensive line. We're going to get the trenches. If the Arizona Cardinals decide to trade back and pick up some more picks, it's a free-for-all at that point, right? Whoever the Arizona Cardinals value on their big board, thinking that either we're just going back in the first round or picking up, or going back to the second. I don't know. Just kind of really depends. Rafa says, for me, if we don't draft Karlaftis, I always butcher his name, George. Karlaftis. There you go, Karlaftis. I butchered it again. So he says, for me, if we don't draft Karlaftis, Dotson, or cornerback, I would be happy. Oh, so you don't want them to draft a cornerback. Okay. So you don't want them to draft George Karlaftis or Dotson. So the only thing with Dotson for me, and I do think it's a very realistic thing for the Arizona Cardinals to go after, because the Arizona Cardinals love to get that big, that speedy guy. That's what the Cardinals like to do. I can see him go that which way because he probably will be available at the number 23 overall spot. But I don't want him. Like, legit, I don't want him. I legit don't want him. March trading back and get an inside linebacker. Sheesh. Let's keep reading here. Let's see. Silver Wolf says the Cardinals can start all. The Cardinals can start all Pro Bowl caliber players and still wouldn't make it to the Super Bowl with Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. This is hell for the next 5 years. Dang. Sheesh. Deshaun says they should trade back a couple picks to get more picks and some sleeper players. Yeah, that's definitely a very real possibility for sure. Let's see here. Kime would do it. Why not redeem ourselves and send a first and a second? I'm sorry, first and Isabella for Metcalf. That's kind of the same situation. The Seahawks will not trade within their division. Like, we're going to forever be the dumb ones. Like, that's who we are. We're going to forever be the guys that picked Andy Isabella over Metcalf. And I get there's going to be people being out there like, multiple other teams did this, Mike. We're not the only team that did it. But we picked Andy Isabella over DK Metcalf. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, other teams skipped out on DK. Yes, I get it what you're saying. But at the bottom line is we're forever going to be known as a team that drafted Andy Isabella over DK Metcalf. Because Cliff Kingsbury wanted it that way. And we haven't seen him having a great game. Yeah, he had a couple nice little games here and there, but nothing is as expensive as extensive as what I would like for a second rounder. It would take too much to get dead. Yeah, exactly. Indeed. Facts, bro. Facts. Let's keep on reading to the comments here. Mark says, if it were me, I would trade up and get a wide receiver. Need to get another good one. And I think that might be where a lot of fans' mindset is, right? If the Arizona Cardinals do decide to trade up, two things are going to happen. Wide receiver or cornerback, in my opinion. If we stay at the number 23 overall spot, I think we'll address the trenches. If they do move back, then they can get some picks. And kind of like my guy Deshaun said, maybe we might get that diamond in the rough. But any of these draft players that are going to come around this year, unless they produce in the first year, you're not going to hear any hype here. Let me just tell you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to hear any hype here. I'm not going to be comparing these players like these Hall of Fame players, because we have heard it the past 3 years. And a lot of these players haven't really panned out for the Arizona Cardinals at all. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. CB, what's up, CB? Says, wish I could watch the draft live stream with you tomorrow, Mike, but I'll be in New Mexico for the Deftones concert. Awesome, man. Well, cool. Good stuff, man. I haven't heard Deftones in a very, very long time. He says, as usual, be red, see red. Absolutely. I appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you so very much. Soul says, isn't Dotson 5'10"? I'm getting tired of drafting small reds. Exactly. Well, they're labeling him as 5'11", right? 5'11". That's what they're labeling him as. But that would be a move the Cardinals would do, right? That would be a move the Cardinals would do. Alex, what's up, Alex? He says, what's the word on Deebo Samuel? I know he wants a trade. Should we attempt to make a move? Last thing I heard, and I'm in talks with, obviously, I kind of have another channel called the NFC West Network. If you guys are interested in knowing everything in the NFC West, highly recommend you check out the page. But I got my guy CG Ruthless Sports on there, and he talks everything, obviously, San Francisco 49ers, because he has the know. He's able to hear what's going on over there in San Francisco compared to what we are. So I highly recommend you to shoot a subscribe. It is going to be in the description of this video if you guys are interested. But last thing I heard is that he does want to trade, and it's not for compensation purposes. It's for the fact that Kyle Shanahan wants to remain to use him as a running back / wide receiver, and Deebo doesn't want that. Deebo wants to be primarily a wide receiver, and Kyle Shanahan seems to be very, very, stubborn, and doesn't want to change off of the game plan that really made them, in the playoffs this last year. So I think that might be the big kind of focal point, the big takeaway for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, will we draft him? I don't see the 49ers trading him in the division as well. I think that would be very foolish for them to do so. And I think it would be a little bit more expensive, just kind of like my guy said a little earlier, talking about DK Metcalf. It's kind of the same concept. I just don't see it happening. Soul says 5'11" with shoes on. Jean-Paul says Deebo's going to the Jets. Yeah, possibly. Jay Salcedo says, I remember when Simmons fell to us and we went crazy. Yeah, I remember it too. I was excited. I was stoked. I was like, let's freaking go. The problem with him falling to us is just that we don't know how to use him. That's the problem. We like to, the Arizona Cardinals like to reinvent the wheel. The Arizona Cardinals like to take a circle and try to put it in a square hole. That was a very bad gesture, sorry. But they try to put it in a square hole. Try to reinvent the wheel. That's what the Arizona Cardinals do. And yes, I was excited about Isaiah Simmons. I was ecstatic that he fell to us. But I still wanted CeeDee Lamb. I still wanted CeeDee Lamb because it was Kyler Murray's boy. But we're willing to take a chance, but just the Cardinals just don't know how to use players. Another example, my God, JMG Marcus? Another example here. I'm not the only one that feels like this, ladies and gentlemen. It is within this fan base right now. JMG Marcus, I'm going to put your comment up here right now because this was a point that I was making a little earlier in the stream. He says, seriously, who cares? This team is a waste of my breath. That is the perfect example of what I've been talking about. Perfect example of what I've been talking about. This team has done nothing this offseason. Nothing. They throw some flight plans out there and they try to get us to buy their season tickets. They extend Kingsbury and they extend Steve Keim. They have done nothing to compete with the Rams. Nothing, ladies and gentlemen. JMG Marcus, I don't blame you for saying that. Here's a perfect example here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not saying you got to come to an AZ Sports Fan stream in order for us to know if the fan base is happy or not. No, I'm not trying to say that. But last year, in the past couple of years, whenever we had any draft coverage and every time we talked about the Cardinals, this thing was booming. People were talking about all sorts of things that the Arizona Cardinals should be doing. We should do this. We should do that. I want to draft this player. I want to draft this player. This year, there's a cloud over this Arizona Cardinal organization, and it's because of the decisions that was made with Kyler Murray's drama and the extension of Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury. And the lack of free agency moves. There's nothing that gives the fans hope. Nothing. And I'm a big, diehard Arizona Cardinal fan. I will be, even if Kyler Murray isn't here. I will be, even if Steve Keim gets fired, Cliff Kingsbury gets fired, even if Michael Bidwell sells the team and decides to move on, retire, and live a happily life. I will still remain to be an Arizona Cardinal fan as long as they are here in Arizona. I think the proof's in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. This team has done nothing to excite fans. This team has done nothing to compete with the Rams. And I didn't mean to rhyme right there, but this team has done nothing but throw some flight plans at us and expect us to watch, because that's what gets us hyped for the 2022 season. This draft, who are we going to pick? I don't know. I don't have expectations this year. Have expectations, you will be let down. I promise. You'll be let down. Mark, what's up, Mark? Everyone is blah on this team lists because we can't finish a season with winning. No depth and bad drafting. Rafa says, I get that they didn't bring anyone in yet, but not all season are a win now or bust. The plan is to fill holes in free agency in June, but not go crazy and get big names. And I respect that, right? If that's what happens, great. And if it works out for the Arizona Cardinals, great, right? It's worked out with James Conner. But I think a lot of times the Arizona Cardinal fans, they like to kind of accept the explanation. And we don't demand excellence. We don't. Legit. Like, we don't demand excellence at all. We're an organization that does very good we're do very good for like 2 years, maybe 3, and then we rebuild for like 4 or 5. That's it. That's the history of the Arizona Cardinals. Legit. D, what's up, Dean? He says, to be fair, the Rams roster is stacked. I mean, AD, Ramsey, Cooper, Wagner, etc. Yes, I agree. 100% agree. But AD was drafted there. Cooper was drafted there. Ramsey was traded in. Wagner was just picked up. They traded for Matthew Stafford, and they got a pretty good running back core with Cam Akers and whoever they decide to bring back. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right on the head there, Dean. 100%. But that should not be excuse for the Arizona Cardinals to sit complacent and sit on their hands, in my personal opinion. We're still going for the division, at least, right? We'll see. Arizona Bird says, I hate the Lions. I hate the Lions keep beating the Arizona Cardinals. So unfair. Well, the Lions and the Panthers seem to be the teams that beat us all the time. I don't get it. I missed early to set. I agree. Zero says, I would like, let's see here. I would like how we couldn't be bothered to get at least one decent corner in free agency. Just pathetic. So you wanted to get at least one corner in free agency and we didn't do it. Yeah? The Cardinals should draft Bobby Boucher. Love it. Love it. Alvila, I feel like Seattle will find a way to beat us too. You might be right. You might be right. Fausto, what's up, Fausto? I know nothing of this draft. Can you give us a quick recap? Who looks good? What's our budget? Well, the draft is not really about budget. It's more of like who falls to the Arizona Cardinals, right? We're sitting at the number 23 overall spot at this very moment. And I can kind of give you players that I would want the Arizona Cardinals to draft, but like legit, it really just depends on what happens in the first 22. Like there's rumors out there that the Cardinals might trade up. There's rumors that we might trade back. There's rumors that we can sit complacent at the number 23 overall spot. Like there's just anything that can happen tomorrow. Starting at 5 p.m. Anything can happen. And we're kind of waiting, right? We're falling victim of a lot of the 22 other teams that are drafting before us. Pat Bush just draft K1's replacement. Oh, change. I don't think K1's going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not a K1 fan, this did drop today from Ian Rappaport saying that the Arizona Cardinals have picked up a 5th-year option for Kyler Murray, sources say. And then John Gambadoro from 98.7, local station here in Phoenix, says that obviously the 5th-year option will be picked up as well. And this is kind of what he's due to be made. So I don't think Kyler's going anywhere. I know there's people that don't want Kyler back. But there's some people that do want Kyler back. I want him back. I think we're better with him than we are without him. But that's just kind of my 2 cents. Let's build around McCoy. Oh, sheesh. I don't think we're not gonna go in there. We're not gonna get there. John, what's up, John? I see you up there. As boring as it is, and as boring as it is, we got back key guys. That's not a bad thing. But Keim needs to get this draft. If we love a wide receiver, fine, and they need toughness in the trenches. Yeah, well, I agree. I don't think maybe. Let me rephrase. I don't think anybody disagrees with you there, John. I think bringing back the key guys was imperative, right? I made a video about the key guys that I want the Arizona Cardinals to bring back, and all of them were brought back. You know, Connor, Ertz, just to kind of name a few. And I also even said if we had a decision between Edmonds and Connor, we're going to choose Connor over Edmonds, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. The only problem that we're dealing with right now is that we're expecting a GM to draft his butt off this year. But truth of the matter is there's no different. It's the same GM, the same evaluation, the same thing that he does year in and year out. To me, unless he trades up and gets a cornerback, a top cornerback, or unless he trades up and drafts a top wide receiver, I'm just going to sit here and be like, okay, cool. All right. We've addressed needs. But I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say this guy's going to be the next this person. I want to see what they do in the very first year, and I hope they would produce in the very first year. So I don't expect Steve Keim to have a epiphany. Just this is the year, right? This is the year where Keim's going to have the epiphany. I don't expect him to because he's never done it before. Why expect it now? What if we make a move for McCaffrey? Nah, I doubt it. We have Connor. There's really no point in it. Avila says Suns doing okay though. Well, no, Suns are they're going to win. It's going to be Suns in 6. It's going to be Suns in 6 for sure. A-Dub for GM, possibly. What's up, Josh? It would be so wonderful to see the Cardinals trade up for a few spots if McDuffie falls. Washington DBs do so well in AZ. However, if Zion Johnson is there, we can't pass on him since we have only 2. All 2 linemen under contract through this year. Gotcha. Yeah. Wouldn't be mad at that either, right? If we stay at the number 23 overall spot, I think that the trenches are going to be imperative. If we trade up, hopefully quarterback or hopefully wide receiver. Is Tim Hightower available? That's funny. So tomorrow we will be doing a draft party, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't expect a lot of people to be there, and that's completely fine. It is what it is, right? You can come in, you can come out. It's up to you. I'll be here talking Arizona Cardinals to see who they draft in the first round. We will see exactly what happens with the Arizona Cardinals, and fingers crossed that we just don't F it up this time around. But I do fully expect Devin Booker to run it down the throats of the New Orleans Pelicans and hopefully Suns in 6, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for coming in here. Thank you so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody here. Thank you. You guys didn't have to stop in here, but you guys did it anyway. Have a great rest of your day. I will be ending the stream here, and as I always like to end all my streams, have a great rest of your day and go Cards.